So I had some people been asking me about what I'm going to race next year because they see me sign up for some races and wondering what my plans were. I'm officially going to announce that I am going to go for the blacklist next year. Obviously, if you've seen some of my posts, I'm in for the Triple Crown next year, which is 150K, World's End 100K, Eastern States 100 miler. I did that back in 2019. I had a real bad time at Eastern States. I went out way too fast and burned up. So I'm just going to go back this year and try for the Triple Crown once again, with just trying to do a better time at Eastern States. Nothing fancy. I think I was like 33 hours at Eastern States before. So I'm just going to try to hit like 30-hour mark. I'm not trying to go for some absurd time. I'm just trying to finish it, just best my time a little bit, because by that time in the year, I'm going to be burnt out a little bit. So since I'm doing the Triple Crown, I am going to go for the blacklist, which is the Black Forest 100K as well. Might as well do the blacklist if you're going to do the Triple Crown anymore. It's only fitting, and if you're doing 3, you might as well do the 4. Well, with that being said, I am also going to do ironstone 100K. I'm going to throw my hat into that. So I'm going to do the big 5 this year. I know we call it Aaron's list because he was the only one that did it this year. Well, I'm going to see if anybody else will take on the challenge this year. I'm taking it on. I want to see if I can do it. It's going to be a hell of a challenge to see if I could survive all 5 races. Again, I'm not going for time per se in any of them. Just trying to finish and achieve the goal, I guess, is the plan as of right now. So I got my paper real quick. As you'll see, I can't remember all this stuff off the top of my head. As of right now, this is my preliminary list of things I'm going to do for the year. Obviously, a lot of things are going to get added, 5Ks, 10Ks, a couple halves, probably some other ultras down the road as more things open up. Not everything's open yet, especially stuff in like September on aren't really open yet. There's just a few of those. So for January, I'm pretty much going to take it easy. With the weather, I'm not going to get myself in a situation where I'm going to go out there and freeze for a couple hours. So if there's any 5Ks or 10Ks around, I'll probably do that, like Fire and Ice. Somerset, I'll probably end up there. It's a traditional race that I do every year. Again, depending on the weather in January, I'll see what's going on that weekend. And, pick a race if I feel fancy enough to do it. I mean, I don't want to go out and do too much in January and February. Get hurt slipping on snow and ice, falling, getting hurt, or overexerting myself early on in the year, then, pushing my training back for the rest of the year, where I might not be able to complete stuff. Then in February, I signed up for the Frozen Snot. I'm only going to do the short course this year. I've done the long course, I don't know, maybe 3 times now. But I'm just going to do the short course this year and hopefully get back in time to cheer a bunch of my friends on, get some videos and pictures. That's why I'm doing the short course this year. Just so I can enjoy the environment a little bit more and watch people come in. Plus, I always hate that last climb at the split. I always get so hot, and then you have to climb up that last big rock facing. I always end up freezing and then have a miserable time that last 4 or 5 miles. So I'm just going to cut that out this year. I know that sounds like I'm being a pansy, but I'm playing it smart. Again, I don't want to get hurt. So if like Frozen Snot's completely horrible, like the conditions are so bad, I'm not even going to go and race. Well, I might go, but I'm not going to race and hurt myself and jeopardize the other big races for the year. I'm going to play it smart. So that's going to be a little bit of a theme early on, is play it smart so I can do these other things later in the year. So I'm probably not going to do any obstacle course racing, at least in the front half of the year. Because one little slip at an obstacle course, or, I get sore from an obstacle course for a week or two, it just sets my training back a little bit, and I just can't risk it this year. In March, I signed up for the Rabid Raccoon 100 miler. I think it's Raccoon State Park, past Pittsburgh. That race, again, depends on the weather right now. If I do it or if I even finish it. I signed up for the 100 because I'm actually going to use that as my baseline for the rest of the year, see how my training is up to then. So I'm going to see how many miles I can bang out. If I start to feel miserable, I'm just going to drop out with whatever mileage I get in, not push myself, and again, not get hurt in March. So this is just, the Rabid Raccoon 100 is just going to be my baseline training to see where I'm at going into April and May. So if I finish it, I finish it. If not, I really don't care. I mean, I'm going to go and try if the weather's good, but other than that, hell with it. So if I don't do the Rabid Raccoon, then that following week, I'm going to go down and do the Greenbrier Ultra, but I'm not signing up for that until I see what the weather is for the Rabid Raccoon. The Greenbrier Ultra is the 100 mile. It's like 5 mile laps. I forget what the park is in Maryland. I actually tried to do it a couple years ago, but I had an Achilles issue. So I ended up finishing. Plus, that was before I really did any ultras. It was like my first real attempt at an ultra, and I had Boston Marathon like 2 weeks later. So I played it smart and backed out. That was my first DNF like 4 years ago in 2018. I didn't have any until this year. So I've had a pretty good track record. But again, I had an Achilles issue back then. So March is pretty much open as well because of weather. But then April starts, and that's between April and July is when things really get heated up. I'm going to go to Dirty Kiln this year again. No real time goal right there. It's just a fun race put on by the trail runners, Allegheny Trail Runners. So I just, want to go and support them because, again, it's another one of those traditional races. A fun, quick race. Then Heiner on the 22nd of April, I'm doing the 50K. Of course, that's the first race of the PA Triple Crown and the Blacklist, so I have to do that. No real time goal for there. Just going to go and finish. I mean, I'm going to try a little bit, but, I'm not going to overexert myself because that's when the gauntlet is what I'm going to call it between April and June starts. So, trying to play it smart while racing hard and thinking about my goals for the year. The following week is the Queen Mahoming on the Dam Ultra 34 miler. The following week after Heiner 50K. I've done the Queen a couple of times now. I tried to break the record. I still think the record should be 4 hours and 20 minutes, 4 hours and 30 in that range easily. I did it in like 4:55 or something like that this year. I came in the first, because it's like a 2 laps of 17 miles. I came in about, what was it? 2:05 or something like that. I think it was this year, way ahead of that 2:20, 2:30 pace. But I just crashed because it got real hot and got like hyponatremic. So my times just really slipped on that second lap once it got like 70 plus degrees. So I'm just going to go to that and use that as a training run after Heiner. Well, training / recovery run. And then the following week, which would be like May 7th range, is the Pittsburgh Marathon. It's another traditional race I do. I always like going there. To me, that marathon, even though it's road, I just find that I run really good in Pittsburgh because of the rolling hills. A lot of people don't like it. I love it. I love the environment. I love how the city of Pittsburgh comes out and supports you in all the different boroughs, little townships, whatever you guys call them down there. Just the crowd, the participation, just getting to run the streets of Pittsburgh, going by the stadiums, all that fun stuff. I love the Pittsburgh Marathon. So I plan on going back to that. And then Glacier Ridge 50 miler or 50K. The goal is the 50 miler right now, but depending how I feel, it just might be the 50K. 50K is probably the smarter move instead of the 50 miler, because 50 miler is a lot of out and backs, and I really don't like a bunch of out and backs, like 4 or 5. I think it's like 4 or 5 different out and backs for the 50 miler. So it's a lot of back and forth. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant on the 50 miler, even though it's going to be an awesome training run and race to do. I actually want to get it off my bucket list because, there's always something going on that weekend the last couple of years, so I haven't been able to do it. This year, it's the week after Pittsburgh Marathon, so I should be able to fit it in. Of course, got to wait another couple weeks to see what opens up, so that could always be scratched. I think that's usually the reason why I couldn't do it before is Seven Springs Mud on the Mountain weekend is usually Glacier Ridge week. So if Mud on the Mountain comes back, even though it's an OCR, it's local, I got to support that so it stays. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to Glacier Ridge. Well, attempt Glacier Ridge. I want to go back to the Rothrock Challenge up at Tussey Mountain. I know last year I said I wouldn't go back because it's all rocks the whole race. But I just feel like I should go back and do it again, because running on those rocks and that type of environment is going to help me train for the couple other races that I have listed the following couple weeks. So I think I need to go back and do that again, even if it's just for fun and not for competition purposes. That's on the 21st of May. Path of the Floods, May 27th. Again, that's another traditional race that I do, help support like the Cambria Wreck and the local Path of the Flood trail. Plus, this year, the trail is supposed to be done, that the last little extension to the breast of the dam. So I want to make sure I do it the inaugural year. If it's, I already signed up for it, so I'm doing it. But I'm hoping the trail's done in time. It's supposed to be. I want to run the inaugural from the breast of the dam to the finish year. So I don't want to miss that. It's rail trail. It's usually a pretty fat, red line, fast type race. For the vast majority, it's downhill, but there's still actually a good couple hundred feet of gain. Probably like 4, I think it is, in the 14 miles. I don't know what the distance is going to be at the breast of the dam if we actually start there. Probably like 15 or so. I didn't get to really look at that, but there is some uphills to it, even though people think, Path of the Flood, the water's all going downhill. Tell you what, the trail itself doesn't steadily go downhill. There is uphills, but that's always a good race. A lot of friends and family run it, so I love that environment as well. So then the following week on June 3rd is the World's End 100K, second race of the Triple Crown, second race of the for the Blacklist. I've done the 100K at least twice, maybe 3 times now. So I know the course a little bit. It's always rough. One year it was really hot. One year is really wet, so we'll see what happens. It does beat you up and spit you out a little bit, but it's another one of those fun, hard PA races that I just love doing yearly. I did the 50K this year, but I want to go back I have to go back for the 100K next year for the Triple Crown. And then the following week, I'm going to go from World's End 100K. The following week, the Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail 70 miler. Again, that's my Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail is in my backyard. I live 5 minutes from Seward, which is the 70-mile marker. This year I won the 50K. I don't think I'm going to go for time per se and try to win it. The 70, that's probably out of my realm of possibilities with the gauntlet that I have set up. But I've always had the goal of finishing before dark. So this year I'm going to try to just finish before dark. I think it's like 14 hours range, which is very doable for me as long as I have a good day. 2 years ago, was it last time I did the 70, I think it was like 2 years ago. I actually drank some real bad water and my electrolytes were off and I started getting headaches and stuff like that. I still finished in like 16 hours, but I was on such a good pace, like 12, 13 hours, I think maybe at the time. And then I just crashed after I drank this water. And I'll tell you what, as soon as I drank it, my stomach just turned. So the goal for Laurel Highlands, which is probably one of the races I do actually have a little bit of goal, which is to finish before dark. It's very possible for me now that I know the course really damn good. So as long as my fitness and my level stays high, my legs are still underneath me, I should be able to do it this year. Then I have a couple weeks as of right now, slowing down a little bit, but we'll see what pops up the middle of June, because I couldn't really find anything too interesting or hard yet. But I think after running this little gauntlet, what I'm going to call it is Heiner 50K, the Quee 34 miler Pittsburgh Marathon, Glacier Ridge 50K, Rothrock Challenge, which is just the 25K, Path of the Flood like 15, World's End 100K, Laurel Highlands 70. I probably should take a couple weeks to recuperate. I think would be the smarter move, but my dumbass doesn't like to do that. In 2019, I did 4 ultras in 5 weeks. It was World's End, Laurel Highlands, Ghost Town Trail Challenge. Then Indian Mud Run was the only week that I didn't do an ultra. But if you ever heard of Indian Mud Run in Ohio, it's a badass OCR that just completely kicks your ass. And then I did Lost Turkey 50K. So I'm capable of doing 4 50Ks within 5 weeks and being perfectly fine. But so I'll have like 3 weeks off, and then July is Ironstone, like the 8th and 9th, 100K. I was really interested in it last year. Last year was its first race. I volunteered a lot setting up and then at an aid station last year. And the whole starting at like 2 p.m. in the middle, like July, where it's going to be, possibility of scorching hot, starting on that rail trail for like 17 miles before you get your ass handed to you on the rocks and climbs and stuff. Really intrigued me. I saw a lot of people suffering last year. I just want to see what I can do on that course. I'm actually going to try a little bit on that. I'm not going to go for time, but I'm going to push a little bit just to see what I can do, because why the hell not? It seems like a fun race and hard race. Plus, that's going to be my last, hopefully my last tune-up before Eastern States, August 12th and 13th. So Ironstone, it's going to be my last tune-up for the Eastern States. That 100K gives me we'll say like a month to rest, recuperate, dial back to training a little bit, and just do some fun stuff in between Eastern States. Again, the time, Eastern States I think it's under 33 hours. Anything under that, I'm happy with, because it's a third race of the Triple Crown, third race of the Blacklist. So I just want to survive. I know this year the temps dropped dramatically. I think it was like 30-some degrees, or I don't even know if it dropped into 20. I think it was a little frosty at Eastern States this year. So the goal there is just to survive that. Because, again, the weather plays a huge factor in Eastern States with 20,000 feet of gain and loss. So if it's real shitty out, like storming, raining, or the temps drop, or it gets 90 degrees, time just goes out the window, and it's just about survival. I got lucky in 2019 when I did it. It was a little bit hot, but not unbearable. I just burnt myself out I was under like a 24-hour pace for the first 50 miles, and then I just hit a wall because at the time I was going farther than I ever really ran before, and the elevation was more than I've ever done at that point. So I was a little bit, I guess, underprepared body-wise, not having done anything like that before. So there's that. So as I said, like the gauntlet from like April to June, well, April 22nd till June 10th, that gauntlet's like building me up and tearing my body down. And then I got that month break built in for ironstone, and then that month break for eastern states. Even though, again, I'll probably be racing some stuff in between on those weekends. That's just how I am. Maybe I'll just do some 5s and 10s, maybe a half or something like that. Maybe do like a 25K training run, because somewhere it's usually the end of July. Last weekend of July is the Deer Flies 25K, which I always got to support that for the Indiana Road Runners. I do have an OCR the last weekend of July, which is the Rugged Maniac, but it's just an easy 5K OCR. I should be fine as long as I don't do nothing stupid and slip and get hurt there. But again, getting closer to the Rugged Maniac, see how my body feels and training goes. If I want to risk even going to that, just ruining what I've achieved so far during the year. Again, this is all based on me being healthy and nothing bad happening, like at work or, financially or anything like that I could do all this stuff. Then it's like September, Tough Mudder 12-hour event is like September 9th and 10th in Pittsburgh. I'm kind of on the fence about that, the way Tough Mudder's been, the direction it's been going. Every time that I've done the 12-hour event for Toughest Mudder, it must be my luck. The conditions been real shitty. Like a couple years ago in Philly, it was lightning and thundering. They delayed us for a couple hours, and it came back a couple times throughout the night, and I just said to hell with it. I didn't stay out for the full 12 hours because it was just miserable, just, stopping and going because of the lightning and thunder, and I'm not a big fan of getting electrocuted anymore. So that's my September's like, If not, then I'm going to go to Barber Beast on the Bay on the 9th instead of the Tough Mudder. I could probably swing both, but don't know if I really want to do that to my body. Having to drive like 2 hours in between and then do a 12-hour event. It's kind of stupid, but maybe. Never know. But then September 26th, this is the 16th. Yeah, I think it's the 16th, Rocking the Knob. I'm going to go back to that. I don't plan on running as hard at Rocking the Knob this year, but we'll see how that goes and who shows up. Because that'll be my last tune-up before the Black Forest Ultra. So I'm going to go from Eastern States, have like a month to recuperate, do Rocking the Knob, and then I'll have a couple weeks before the Black Forest Ultra, which is the 4th race in the blacklist. And we'll call it the 5th race on Aaron's list as well. So I just want to make sure I'm healthy for that. So Rocking the Knob is like a little bit of a tune-up for the Black Forest Ultra to make sure my fitness level is still up to par and I recovered from Eastern States. So as you see, I sort of have it set up where I build my body up early on, tear it down. I'm able to recover for the bigger races like Ironstone, Eastern States, Black Forest Ultra, because I know I can do World's End 100K, especially because I got 2 weeks after like Glacier Ridge. I got the Rothrock and Path of the Flood. So those are shorter, not as challenging races. So I should be able to recover, use that as like more of an active recovery for World's End and Laurel Highlands Hiking Trail 70. Again, the big question marks is January, February, March right now. I'm just going to play that all by ear and weather-wise. Again, the Rabid Raccoon, I'm not really looking forward to that, but that being a race, again, it's just going to be a training run to see how much I can do if the weather's good enough. So if I go down there and I do 15, 20 miles, I'm like, this sucks. I'm good with it. Depending on if it's a weather DNF or fitness DNF, that's to be decided. I did to get the insurance, so if I see the weather is going to be real shitty, I got the insurance on it, so I can just, say hell with it, I'm not even going. That's really the first race I've actually said the hell with it and just going to use it as an actual training run. Not really care about that if I DNF'd. Now there's a couple of races like Lost Turkey. I want to do the 50K this year. And my buddy's race, the Laurel Hill race. Those dates aren't posted yet. Lost Turkey has been the end of August last couple years. Laurel Hill, not sure where he's moving it, but he was talking about moving the date. So that might be the second week of May. That will take priority over Glacial Ridge. So we'll see how those two play out. Of course, if it's on 2 different days, Saturday, Sunday, maybe I'll just do both, because Laurel Hill is a 50K and a 20K. I did the 20K this year. I was going to do the 50K, but if it's like on a Sunday or something and I can do like Glacier Ridge 50 the day before, I'll do that. And then probably November, I'll do the In-First Marathon again on the Ghost Town Trail. That'll be probably my last long distance race for the year. And again, everything in between, like say January, February, March, I'm just going to sprinkle in some smaller stuff, 5Ks, 10Ks, halves. Same with October. I'll probably do like the Red Cross Vampire 5K again and some of the other local stuff, October, November, December, because I always like to support the local races as well, since my year will be winding down a little bit. Now, again, the goal this year is, first goal is PA Triple Crown. Second goal is the blacklist. Then third goal is what we're calling the Aaron Watkins list, because he was the only person to do all 5, including Ironstone this year. So those are like my top 3, and the finish. Top 4 then would be Laurel Highlands Before Dark. And then maybe if I throw in like a trail series or something like that, somebody has like a short series I can do for points, maybe I'll chase that a little bit. But to stay healthy and whatnot, and just have fun, build this resume up. I think this resume will help me with some other things I want to do in like 2024, 25, go out west a little bit, doing some of those like bigger races. Like, I don't want to say like the Moab 200, but eventually I'd like to do a 200 miler. But I want to get some of those out west races. Plus, World's End and Laurel Highlands are both Western States qualifiers. So having those like back to back, if I can finish them, I can at least get a ticket this year, earn a ticket, throw my hat back into the ring for that, because I didn't do any this year to get a ticket. So I'm back down to 1. So I want to go out west a little bit, do some of those bigger races, do Georgia Death Race at some point. So expand out a little bit, do a little bit more traveling after this year, while I dial back as many races as I've done. I'm up to like 74, I think, this year already. And I still got a couple weeks of December left. So my plan is to have this sort of bigger year, and then dial back racing in general and have more fun, and go explore a couple different races, like, like Twisted Branch, New York, stuff like that. Maybe try to get into like Badwater down the road, some of those bigger Western State type races. So I'm hoping this catapults me this year into some of those harder races they get into without a resume, and then I could build off of that for following years. So that's my goals. That's my preliminary race schedule. I know a lot of people are going to be talking shit. They already are. But hey, I don't see them doing half this shit. I know some people are like, oh, this person's better than you. This person's, does better or more stuff. Well, we'll see if somebody does half this year. But I'm going to dedicate this year, well, to myself, first of all. If I could stay healthy and finish everything that I have written down so far, I think it would be hell of an accomplishment. But I want to dedicate the year to, everybody that believes in me, helps me, it's always supported me. My family's always supported me from day one. My mom, my dad, my grandfather, my other family members, they've always supported me running. Even when I was really horrible. I'm not saying I'm great now, but when I first started out, they were always there for me, giving me, well, I don't want to say advice, but because they were always telling me not to do as much, but they were always there for me, supporting me. So I'm dedicating to them. The second part of the dedication is to my friends who support me, always cheer me on, wanting to see me do well, hope I do well. Just enjoy watching me go out there and push my limits, have fun, and, the ones that aspire to do some of the things that I do, even though at times I don't think I do things that are that great, but I know people come up to me and be like, wow, that's really amazing. You do this, that, because they know I'm not no superstar elite runner. Hell, I was a fat kid up to like 10th grade. I never even started running really competitively until I was like 32 years old. I'm 39 now. So like to start this late and do some of the things that I did, like it does inspire people. So I'm thankful to that. So I'm doing this for myself and for all the people that supported me through the years. I'm also doing this for the people that do hate me and want to see me fail. I just want to do this to prove them wrong. Because I know every step, every race that I do, there's always somebody there that hates when I show up, or they talk shit and they just want to see me fail and do bad. So I would like to do this list and finish this list this year and prove them all wrong. And then the last part of it is, for every person out there that wishes they could do half the things that us in the running community can do, I want to do this for them as well. There's so many people out there that I don't want to say that they can't walk, they can't run, they can't do a lot of things that I'm able to do, and I take for granted on a daily basis. This is for them as well. Just proving that, whatever you set your mind out to do, you can do. And I'm doing this for them as well, because there's so many people who can do things, amazing things, like, I don't want to say just running, but like anything that they want to in life, but choose not to. So this is for the people who wish they could, but are unable to, because I don't know how to say it, but I think we often forget that and take for granted our abilities just to be able to get up in the morning, dress ourselves, bathe ourselves, go to work, be able to drive a car, not have to worry about food or heat, or just be able to walk on our own. So many people take that for granted, And so many people wish they had the ability to do those things, but they just don't have the physical or mental capability of that. So I'm doing this a lot for them as well, because there's so many people out there who have the ability to just take it for granted and just waste their lives away, and just sit on their asses, drink, do drugs, don't take care of themselves, just binge watch TV, gain a bunch of weight, just don't generally take care of themselves at all, or ever try to chase any goals or better themselves. So that's why I want to do this also for the people who wish they could but aren't able, because there's so many people out there who just take life for granted, and don't ever think about those who wish they could have the ability of some of those that would like to, but they just can't. And that does get me a lot. It does push me a lot when I'm racing, and inspire me a lot, because I'm like, hey, when I hit that wall or I hit that low point, I think about all the people who wish they could be where I'm at that point in the race, and they just can't do it themselves because of the physical or mental abilities or financial. And there's just so many people who do have those abilities to just take it for granted. So those people do inspire me, and I do sort of ceremoniously, I guess, I don't know what the correct word was, I'm doing this for them as well. So I just don't take what I've done for granted. Sometimes people think I do, but I really don't take for granted what I've done so far with running and what running has given me. I don't talk about that a lot, but running has given me so much. I've made so many friends. I've had so many memories. I've achieved so much. I've made so many goals throughout the last 7 years. Never thought possible. And I'm going to continue to push those limits. Just because, again, so many people wish they could, but just aren't able. And it just aggravates me how many people who just take life for granted over those, who are suffering right now. I've seen it so many times, people with cancer, my family. I've had people in my family die of cancer. I wish they were here. I wish stuff like that wouldn't happen to them, or friends and just people in general, innocent, nice people, to just never get that opportunity, where some people just take it for granted. So I'm going to get off that tangent real quick, because I can go on that for that. But anyway, that's my preliminary race schedule for the year, because I know some people have been asking. So if anybody wants to help me this year, crew me, just hang out, cheer me on, travel with me, you're more than welcome to. I'm definitely going to need some people to help crew me. I'm going to have to probably call in some of my runner friends to pace me at, say, Eastern States, maybe World's End or Laurel Highlands. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. We'll see what we can do. Otherwise, I hope to see you guys all out there soon. Hope you guys all stay healthy. And I hope to see you guys racing at some of these or volunteering. I'll thank the volunteers at all these races ahead of time, and the race directors and everybody involved, medical staff, people that give permission for these races to even be held. Thank you guys all for that. Up front, anybody that supplies anything, whether it's the people that make me my food or my clothes and my gear, thank you guys ahead of time. I hope to have a great year. Again, I'll probably post training statuses every week or every couple weeks. Follow me on Strava, Garmin, whatever. just to see what I can do. Even if you hate me, follow me, watch me fail if I would fail. If not, just get upset that I've achieved all this. So anyway, I'm done. It's enough of that. And happy running.